We ended up going to the NBA crossover event. This was at the Salt Palace Convention Center downtown. We had decided to take tracks to get there. We figured that downtown was going to be crazy with all the traffic and cars and
not lots of parking.
No. There is a track station that's probably about 8 minutes from our house. It's the end of the line, so we had to go all the way downtown. I think it was like a 45-minute to an hour commute for us.
Yeah, that's the longest tracks ride we've ever taken.
And from City Creek, we walked over to the convention center.
So once we got to the Salt Palace, the crossover line was really long.
Really long.
The security, it was taking forever.
Yeah, the lines just kept switchbacking back and forth.
Yeah, they were really long. And after that long tracks ride, I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's no way Katelyn is going to be able to stand through that line. She must have been excited enough for the occasion because she was okay.
We always get nervous going through security too, just because she has her iPad and, sometimes they hassle us, but this time it wasn't bad at all.
So once we finally got in, they just had like banners for the crossover event, photo ops, all kinds of decorations and things put up for it. This is nothing like we've ever seen before. It was awesome.
Had no idea what to expect, and we actually decided to go like almost the last minute. We were like, the All-Star Game's coming to Utah. The last time it came was 30 years ago, so we were like, we gotta go do something.
Yeah, and this was a really fun event that we could get tickets to. Had a lot of sponsors there, and one of the big sponsors was Starry. I believe this was like their introduction rollout. Yeah. Left and right, they were handing out cans of Starry for you to drink, and then also Frito-Lay chips, which Katelyn, she's not a big fan of carbonated drinks, but she sat down and she would drink Starry. So they also had a lot of other kind of booths that were sponsored. There was an AT&T booth where they had different players that you could go in and get pictures taken with, and we happened to get a picture taken with Jericho Sims, who is on the Knicks. Kia was another sponsor. They had a shooting game that was like timed, and it had video up on top where cars were racing, and they raced based on you making baskets, right?
Right. So they had about 5 cars, and they also had 5 hoops, and each person would try to make a basket, and then the car would go a little faster every time you made a basket.
Of course, everything was basketball themed there, so they gave you an NBA Kia backpack, and so that was great because we actually didn't come prepared.
No.
I was carrying around a bag that had all of our coats stuffed into it, and then they kept, we picked up things while we were there, and it was nice to have the backpack to put stuff in.
And I think Katelyn liked doing that game too.
Oh yeah, she had a big grin on her face.
I think the very first basket, the game started, and it kind of scared her a little bit because it made a noise, but other than that, she loved it.
Yeah, and they also, they had other basketball games, kind of like instead of the double shot, it was like a single shot, but it had a big cage over it, which took a little bit of getting used to because you would shoot it and it would hit the frame of the cage, and I think it threw her a little bit, but then she was able to adjust to it because she's actually a pretty good shot.
She is a good shot. She has a sweet spot that she goes and stands at, and she can pretty much make it every time.
Yeah, so they also had just like basketball courts set up all over the place, different kinds of shooting games where they had lower hoops, and then they had like full-size basketball courts, and I mean, just anywhere you looked, you could play basketball.
Yeah, and they even had NBA Jam. They also had PS5s, and they had the NBA game for that.
So they had a little table set up to do decorating of your own mini basketball, and Katelyn really enjoyed that. So they just had these markers, and you could just draw and decorate your own basketball. So that was fun. And the crazy thing, while we were walking around just checking everything out, somebody walked up and handed Chad and Katelyn a crossover t-shirt. So that was pretty exciting because they had these claw games where they were just full of all kinds of stuff, and they happened to also have these t-shirts in them, but it had like bobbleheads or just all kinds of little things in there, and we tried several times. You could go up and get in line and you get a token and tried to play, and we weren't able to win anything.
There were also players that you could get your picture taken with. They had a few of the Jazz players since we were in Utah. Zion came. He was being interviewed by Starry, but before he got there, he almost walked right up to me, but he had a bunch of security, so we couldn't get any pictures with him or autographs or anything like that.
They had a lot of autographing areas where they'd have players come in, but the lines would get so long. So we would see all the players, but it was really hard to get in line. But there were a couple of times where we had players just like we weren't even prepared, and we'd have a player just come up walking by us, and of course, with their whole entourage walking around. That was fun. Another thing that was really fun and we all really liked was they had an Oreo booth. So they had these Oreos that were created specifically for the crossover event. They had a little emblem in the center, and then they were like dipped in white chocolate and had sprinkles all over it. You would stand in this frame and they took a picture and then they printed it out, and they put your group in the center of the Oreo on the picture. It was really cool.
Yeah, sorry. I ended up eating my Oreo. I wasn't even thinking. I should have taken some video of it, but
the Oreos were so good.
Yeah, apparently I was too hungry.
Another booth that I think Katelyn really enjoyed, it was called Ollie Ball, which I had never heard of before. And what they were doing is they were creating like 2-minute videos of kids playing with the Ollie Ball. So they had like a camera set up in front, and then they were throwing this Ollie Ball around, and it's just filled with air. So Katelyn did that, and she had so much fun. Guys that were running the booth were so nice to her, and then after she got done, they gave her like 2 Ollie Balls to take home with her, and so she had a lot of fun.
They had a DJ that was playing music. It was pretty loud in there, you know. You kind of expect that with NBA games.
Yeah, I'll say that it was a little bit like hard to, I mean, you would walk around and it was kind of crazy, giving a little bit of a disorganized feeling, but it was still so fun. And I would definitely recommend, if you guys get the opportunity and the All-Star game comes to your city, I would definitely take part in it, because I mean,
make sure you get involved, because it'll be a long time before it comes back again.
Yeah, I was gonna say we would definitely recommend doing this.
She ran into Benny the Bull, had a good interaction with him.
And Katelyn loves mascots.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. Well, if any of you guys have ever been to an All-Star event in your town, and tell us about it, give us a comment down below. Tell us what your experience was. And if you want to see more videos like this, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.
Good luck.